I mean, with some little trade talk right there, and the possibility of players moving, players coming in, players going out. Let's talk about the potential of some players coming in the draft, Pich. And a lot of people, a lot of Magic fans, for good reason, have the name Chet Holmgren circled on their draft board. He played with Jalen Suggs, makes sense. He's supposed to be this unicorn 7-footer center. So the statement I present to you right now, Pich, Chet Holmgren is the player I want for the Magic next year. Fact or fiction, sir?
Well, it's tough. I've got to, as I always do with fact or fiction, I take it seriously. I understand I'm being asked this question right now and can add no hypotheticals or anything to said question. So right now I'm going to say fiction. I don't know if he's the best player. I still haven't seen enough of him and all of the other players near that are talked about as being near the top to really get a feel. Right now, my eye test is telling me he is not the best player available. I think he might be the best fit, but right. I don't think that is what we want. We want to get the best player, and if we have to move some other parts later, that's a good problem to have. I would have to say I'd go with Paolo Banchero right now. Is I think perhaps the most complete player, and could be the best player. But again, I still need to keep watching these games and seeing these things. Chet must be doing something right because, like I pointed out to you last night, they lost Kispert and Suggs off a team that lost one game all of last season, and they've still only lost twice to this point. So they must have reloaded pretty good there.
Yeah.
And he must be doing something right, but I don't know. He still looks a little skinny for me. I want him to put some weight on. I don't know.
So skinny. So
what do you think?
If I'm answering Chet Holmgren as a player I want for the Magic next year in the draft, I would say fiction. I would say fiction too. I mean, I do want a center, and he's the most highly touted center. Absolutely. I just don't know if he can play center in the NBA,
right? At
least for another 3 or 4 years to the end of his rookie scale contract. And then, what's going to happen then, dude? So that's a lot of projection into the future to say I want him right now.
Right.
The problem that I run into, Pich, is that the other players at the top of the draft aren't centers. I think that's our biggest need. And I know maybe we should be drafting for talent right now, but I want a center. I think we've got a great center in Wendell Carter Jr., but I'm not impressed with Mo. Mo Bamba, he's put in a lot of work, a hell of a basketball player. I'm not convinced. And I wish him the best somewhere else, but just not here. I'm sorry. And wow. Chet Holmgren looks like Mo Bamba. It's the same dude. I haven't watched a lot of Chet, but I did kind of practice this theory the other day. I watched some Chet Holmgren highlights, and then I watched some Mo Bamba University of Texas highlights. And it's like, oh, this is the same dude coming out of college. It looks like.
Right.
Now,
so it looks scary. Yeah.
It looks scary to me. The thing, though, that does bother me most about Mo is none of his talent and his skill. It's really just between the ears. He's just sometimes not in the right place. He still is coming down with his hands and not going straight up on defense and getting into foul trouble still. It's come on, man. It's your 4th year and you're still getting in these issues with the fouls. It's crazy. You can't be a rim protector if you're sitting on the bench. And right. I just see too many similarities in the game between Chet and Mo for me to be ready to go in with that pick. So I'm going to go more towards, a Paolo Banchero or a Jabari Smith. So, those guys are 6'9", 6'10", respectively, over 200 pounds. They're both, averaging, Paolo's 18 points a game Jabari's about 15 points. Paolo's probably been the biggest stat stuffer. And if we're just drafting for talent, I guess we go with Paolo Banchero. How does that fit with, we already have Franz. We just talked about how much we love Chuma. We have J.I. coming back, who's supposed to be a 4. So that forward rotation is getting a little crowded, but I think we could still, we want to go for talent. And I think Paolo Banchero can potentially be a better player than Chuma, perhaps, or just have that as a three wing rotation, be able to rotate those guys because being 6'9", Franz is 6'10". They can play four. They can play the four. J.I. can play the five, or Wendell can be playing the five. So we can definitely work all those guys in. So I think I'd rather see a Paolo Banchero or a Jabari Smith Jr.
Yeah, I mean, those are good points about him and in the comparison to Mo Bamba, which I think is why we have pause over it for sure. That I was thinking that before you even mentioned it, so you Jeff Turnered me. But yeah, it's a pretty big mystery because you don't know, but man, you always want to take big men are hard to find that can play. You've seen a lot over the years drafted. There's plenty of YouTube videos about guys that were touted as centers coming out of college, and teams try to snap them up because they're hard to come by. But maybe we don't get one through the draft. Maybe we have to go get one another way and through a trade or something like that. And I mean, I don't know. Maybe he'll prove me wrong, and maybe he'll turn me around. But it's fact or fiction as of today, and as of today, I say fiction.